Welcome back to a Sunday drive video. Unfortunately, it is raining right now, so it's just too wet. The trails are just way too muddy and wet for me to walk. So I'm going to have to drive again today, but that's okay. I got some interesting things to talk to you guys about. Obviously, I already created a video yesterday, right? Said my piece about the interview, macro environment, all that stuff. So I'm going to talk about what to expect this week. Okay, we do have some very big things happening this week, so let's talk about it. And also, I want to talk about just crypto in general. My thoughts about many of the crypto projects that are still fantastic, worth holding on to, and worth picking up, especially at these levels. I looked at the charts and I'm going to put it together for you guys. So I'm going to go over some great projects that are very undervalued right now that are definitely worth picking up or holding on to. So as for this week, I looked at the economic number for the US, and there are a couple of big ones coming up that could definitely move markets. Okay, well, throughout this whole week, we're going to have a lot of economic data come in, one after another. That's not going to change. And there are some that's coming out. I think UK is also reporting, I forgot if it was like inflation or some kind of big thing that's coming out on Wednesday. But this Thursday, we're going to get another GDP reading for the US, and on Friday, we're going to get the PCE inflation reading. So both of those are quite important. Obviously, right now, we're seeing a slowness, right? And it could be artificially done on purpose to try to get everything to come down in terms of markets, get everything really slow so that rates could come down. So we have to see. GDP, don't know how it's going to be, right? Probably not affected by any of the recent moves, because obviously this is measuring GDP from the last quarter, and all the tariffs and everything, all the uncertainty stuff has, come out only this month. So definitely not going to be affected, but GDP could show, give us a better picture of the overall state of the US and how we're doing. Who knows? It could come in better than expected, but I think most likely it's probably just going to fall in line. I don't expect GDP to be way below or way above. Now, the thing is, if it actually came way below, that's actually what we want at this point. We're in one of those situations again where we do want to see economic slowness, because it gives more reason for Powell to cut the Fed fund rate, and also, I guess that's really the main driver. It is really, we want him to cut the Fed fund rate, right? That's really what we want to see. If we see a ton of economic growth and we see GDP come in way above expectations, that's not a good thing. That's not going to entice him to cut the rates sooner than expected, right? He already said last week that he's going to be cutting the Fed fund rate at least twice this year, and everyone's anticipating that it's probably going to come in June. The next FOMC May, the percentage of a rate cut actually went down after this last FOMC meeting. So a lot of people think that it's going to start in June. The very first cut is in June, right? And the GDP number supports it, showing that the economy is coming down, and we need a boost, we need a jolt, we need that capital injection, right? It's going to help. Now, obviously, if the GDP comes up and it shows that the economy is blooming, that's not a good thing. But then again, people will take it with a grain of salt because of all the tariff stuff that happened starting this month, and next month we're going to get more. Keep in mind, in April, we're going to get a lot more tariffs, so that's going to disrupt things. So we'll see. So Thursday is the GDP number, and then Friday we're going to get another PCE reading, and of course, what we don't want to see is inflation go up, right? Inflation is anticipated to tick up slightly with PCE 0.1% from January to February. So as long as we stay in line as expectations, it's fine. We don't want to see tick up 2.2% or 0.3% or anything beyond, because again, if inflation is ticking up, it's going to be harder for Powell to cut that Fed fund rate that everyone wants to see. So what we want this week is both the GDP and inflation numbers to come down, right? Either in line with expectation or lower, and that'll be good. That'll be really, really good. That's what we want to see this week. So leading up to it, there'll be other stuff like jobless claims and stuff like that, but I don't think they're going to move markets as much as I think the biggest driver will probably be PCE reading. I don't even know if GDP will move all that much, but of course we may get some surprises. I mean, last week we heard rumblings about ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. Maybe we get more on that. That could be a positive. I don't know what other geopolitical stuff that could be coming out this week that could affect markets. Don't quite know, but ultimately, like I've been saying, like including yesterday's video and in the past, right now we're in one of those, we're in one of those bad times, right? Macro conditions aren't great, and a lot of moves are being done. Now in the past, a lot of the moves seemed like they were head scratchers, but if you watched my video yesterday, now I'm more reassured, and hopefully you guys watched that video, the interview that I pointed out. But after hearing Lutnick talk, it's pretty obvious that he is behind most of the moves, and that gives me reassurance that there's some kind of vision and goal and master plan behind all these moves that seem like they're out of left field. And Benson is also part of it. These two guys are behind many of the things that are being done right now, and it's more like short-term pains, long-term gains. Okay, that's what we're seeing. So whether you believe that or not, I don't know, but in my opinion, that's what's happening. And you know what? That relates to the second part of this video, which is which crypto is still worth holding on and worth picking up. Obviously, I don't need to talk about Bitcoin. I talk about Bitcoin every single day. It goes without saying, Bitcoin is the one asset you want to load up and stick with forever, okay? In case you don't understand that concept, just know that Bitcoin, first of all, is scarce. There's a set supply. It was created to be the ultimate hedge against inflation because Satoshi Nakamoto basically saw what happened in 2008, 2009, when the world almost collapsed, went into dark ages because all the banks got way too greedy, over leveraged, and they were all about to go under, and they were bailed out. This is the reason why Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever he, she, they are, created Bitcoin as a decentralized network controlled by code, not by people, and not by any sovereign state, any bank, and that's why it's just pure, and you can't apply monetary policy to it. There's no quantitative easing or tightening. You can't artificially inflate it more when you need to. That's why it's the ultimate hedge against inflation. If you measure the performance over the course of a lifetime, or even the last year, 5 years, 10 years, there's no asset class that comes anywhere close to the performance of Bitcoin, not even gold or anything else. Okay, so that goes without saying. Bitcoin is the one that you just want to keep on stacking, because now that the big boys are coming in, it's going to get more and more rare, and there's just not enough to go around. And by the way, speaking of big boys, I forgot to mention that ETF flows are still positive. It's been about 8 days now of nothing but positive inflow. BlackRock had over 100 million inflow on Friday. So we're starting to see Bitcoin stabilize, right? All the rockiness that we saw Bitcoin go down to the 70s, that seems to have stopped. Now we are stabilizing in the low 80s, and now even in the mid 80s. We stayed at 83, 84 for a while, for an entire week. Right now it's at 85. So I do think that even Wall Street, even the funds that sold off Bitcoin, they are starting to recognize Bitcoin is just way too oversold. Okay, it's time to pick up. That's why the ETFs are now seeing inflows. And of course, the long-term investors are also stacking sats and buying, and that goes without question, right? So me personally, I will continue to hold Bitcoin and stack Bitcoin forever. So no question there. And it's different from all other crypto. I think most of you guys know that, but I'm going to say it anyways, in case some of you guys are new and wondering why Bitcoin is so important. Now, outside of Bitcoin, okay, since our peak, and by the way, Bitcoin since the peak at $109,000 to where it is now, it's down roughly, 27%, something around there, okay, which isn't too bad, but obviously anything that's down 27%, it's a pretty good discount, right? But if you look at a lot of other crypto, they are down way more than that. They're down anywhere from 40 to 50, even 60%. Even some of the good ones out there, okay? Obviously, I've been talking about a lot of, I've been talking about the changing landscape in the US. A lot of changes from the SEC, and I think that's going to make a lot of projects really, really good, really favorable going forward, especially a lot of the American-based projects. And a lot of them have fallen quite a lot, even though there are a lot of things going on. Obviously, the biggest one recently talked about, a lot of news, is XRP with Ripple. That dismissed lawsuit finally from the SEC clears there, and there's a lot going for it. They're going to have an ETF, and they have their stable coin already, and basically, yeah, they have a lot going for it. Brad Garlinghouse is close, talking to administration. XRP is also one of the cryptos listed in that crypto reserve. So even XRP is down about like 30%. So is it worth holding on to? Yeah. I think XRP is going to have a bright future. And one thing that a lot of people don't know, just fundamentally, is XRP also has a set supply. One of the great things about XRP is it does have a set supply. And unlike a lot of other crypto out there, most of them are inflationary. XRP not only has a set supply, it also has a burn mechanism too. Now, in the past, I wasn't very favorable of XRP because of their business model, because they continue to continuously unlock a lot of tokens every month to sell to businesses. But it seems like they're going away from that model. That's why they have their stable coin. They're going to do IPO to raise money. And there's details about this case that's dismissed that actually may prevent them from doing so. That was rumored. I don't know the details if that actually went away or not. But this whole concept could be going away, where they unlock and sell to businesses directly. Maybe businesses have to buy via OTC from exchange or somewhere rather than from Ripple. I don't know. that's an interesting thing. But anyways, I think, and plus they're American based. Obviously, I think that's going to help them tremendously. And XRP Ledger is trying to evolve and do other things too. So I think XRP is definitely one, especially with the changing landscape, and now without the lawsuit on top of them holding them back, is definitely worth holding on to and picking up. But besides XRP, let's not forget about Solana, one of my favorites. I've been supporting Solana for a long time. They are down like 50-something%, okay? A lot of it was due to FUD, a lot of FUD, and it really all started around the Argentina President Milei and his scam meme coin, and tied with that Hayden guy, and and then Dave Portnoy came out with one, and and then the meme coin market pretty much crashed with the recent turbulence. So a whole lot of stuff brought Solana down, but Solana is still, when you measure activity, it's the top. It's above even Ethereum. And when the market gets hot again, memes will come back for sure, and they're all still on top of Solana. Solana also recently launched, they have their futures ETFs. They're going to get their spot ETFs, and they're also in that crypto reserve that I mentioned. And they're American based. So Solana, definitely another one that I support, and I think it's definitely worth picking up, especially now down like 50-55% from the recent top of like 270-ish. It's definitely a bargain. Now, outside of these two, there are many others, okay, that I think have great potential. Another one comes to mind is Chainlink. Chainlink is another one, a boring project, but so necessary. They came out as the biggest Oracle network, which provides price feeds to almost every single chain and every single DeFi project. But they also came out with their CCIP layer, which is a big interoperable bridge, which many projects use also. And that allows them to get involved with RWA, with tokenization, and they're American based. They're just all over. They're just so important. Very, very important. So I think Chainlink is also going to do very, very well going forward. There's no doubt about it. They work with a lot of financial industries. Rumors that they're working with Swift as well. So, I mean, they're all over the place. They're so important and so widely used. So I think Chainlink is another one, and they're down just as much, like 50-something%. I think both Sui and Avalanche, both in that category too. I've talked a lot about both. Sui and Avalanche is similar in many ways. Both into gaming, very into gaming, which gaming itself is not that big right now in Web3. Hasn't caught on, but that can change. But they both have big fan bases, and they're not just in Sui. I mean, they're not just in gaming, I should say. They have their own memes. They have big ecosystem of DeFi. TVL, and both are above $1 billion. So they're involved with RWA as well. And they have large treasuries as well. So they can definitely survive any crypto winter. And they're both American based, already on Coinbase. So I think both of them. I saw Avalanche is like down like 60%. 60%. They came out of nowhere in 2021. And I think they have a big recovery this year too, because they do have a large fan base. There's no doubt about it. And Sui, same thing. They're down almost like 60%. Really no reason why. So I think both of them are definitely very undervalued right now. Worth picking up. Now, outside of these two, there are so many others that are American based, that are working with administration, that have huge fan bases, and I think they're just not gonna go away. Cardano comes to mind, Hedera comes to mind. You could even throw something like Stellar in there. Although I'm not quite sure about Stellar. I might take that one back, but Hedera and Cardano definitely in the mix. People, I don't even have to talk about Cardano. People know who Charles Hoskinson is. He's just, whether you love him or hate him, a very well-known figure in the space. Cardano is still upgrading, trying to be very, very, very fast and the most the most decentralized projects out there, working on governance right now, and they have ties with the administration. So does Hedera, both do, and they may be working on something big. There was rumors about they were working with the administration on new digital ID system, new voter system. Don't know if those things are true. I haven't heard anything about them in recent times, but I know that both of them do have pending spot ETFs. And I forgot, Avalanche and Sui, they have pending ETFs too. Basically, all these projects have pending spot ETFs, which I think will help all of them. I forgot to mention that. But Cardano and Hedera, I think they're also working with Elon and SpaceX. So I think they're going to do very well. And I checked, they're both down like 50-something% too. Okay, so I already named like 5 projects, but and these guys are like mid to big caps, so they're not going to disappear. They've been around a couple cycles, so I think they're going to recover. They're going to recover and do well. Just right now, with so much thought out there, people have just sold off a lot of the alts, but they will come back. They will come back. Outside of these, there are others that I think will do very well. I haven't really talked about AI recently. The AI kind of like enthusiasm in crypto obviously faded recently. But I think a lot of the projects, especially the AI DePIN projects, the ones that have multiple utility, could come back strong. The ones that also have their own L1 will come back strong, I believe. And I think a lot of the other chains that they're trying to figure it out, especially the American-based ones, the ones that are figuring out, trying to bring more TVL, trying to bring more dApps and DEXs and everything else, they're going to do well too. But these ones that I mentioned are primarily the ones that I'm focused on right now, because I think they will come back. They will come back hard and very strong, and I'm looking forward to it. It's really that simple. So that's pretty much it. I know there's other projects I didn't mention. There are DeFi projects I didn't mention. A lot of people love RWA projects that I didn't mention, like, for example, Ondo. A lot of people love Ondo, and they could do well. And there's so many other projects that were like big winners in 2021, other chains that I didn't even mention. They're not American based, but they could certainly come back and do well. I just don't know. Right now, I'm focused more on American-based projects because I do think with the changing landscape, the American-based projects will benefit the most. But that doesn't mean projects from other countries or originating in other countries won't do well either. We'll just see. We'll see with time. All right, guys. That's pretty much it. This is a long video once again. Bottom line is, oh, and by the way, in terms of stocks too, I've been talking a lot about stocks. I do think someone like Coinbase, very, very undervalued, because they're down like 50-something% too. Coinbase now has no SEC lawsuit on top of them. They went to the White House summit. Brian Armstrong is working and talking with the new crypto czar, David Sachs. So I think Coinbase will be really well positioned. Robinhood, which I mentioned a lot, they're starting to come up in their stock, and they're still down like 30-something%. I think they're going to do well. And the final question is MicroStrategy, right? They're the ones that, well, I say they because MicroStrategy now has more than one stock. That's the big question mark. MicroStrategy itself is down about 30-something%, which I think they still have a really good chance to come up, obviously because it's led by Saylor and how much Bitcoin they have. But because they have Strike and now they have Strife, I think there may be some confusion on which one to buy, right? Strike, I noticed, started having a hard time ever since Strife came out. I haven't paid attention to Strife, but I'm really hoping MicroStrategy still comes back strong. I think they will, obviously, because Saylor's also now talking with everyone. He was at the summit, and he's still buying as much Bitcoin as he can, and, you know, there's no doubt Saylor's gonna be known, okay? When it's all said and done, he's gonna be known as one of the godfathers of Bitcoin. Even though he came in so late, he didn't come in at the very beginning. What he has done has completely changed the game in terms of acquiring Bitcoin and getting corporations involved and changing rules like the FASB accounting rule and many other things. But right now, like in terms of stock, I don't know. I just find the other stocks more appealing. But I know a lot of you guys are MicroStrategy fans, and I still think it's worth holding on to, and it will come back. I think there just needs to be a little bit more clarification on which ones Wall Street and retail will lean towards, and then we'll know better which ones to go after. But in theory, MicroStrategy should still be the best one with the most upside, okay? In theory, but we'll see if that happens. But I do think there are some opportunities with stocks as well. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see how it is this week, guys. In terms of my schedule, I'll be putting out videos no matter what. In terms of live streaming, I don't know what my schedule will be, but I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out and let you guys know. All right, take care. Bye-bye.